God is the only goal I have today. God is the only goal I have today. I'm Willie from the Ozarks, and we're ready for lesson 256 in A Course in Miracles workbook for students. We're reading from the original edition here on September the 13th of 2022. God is the only goal I have today. The way to God is through forgiveness here. The way to God is through forgiveness here. There is no other way. If sin had not been cherished by the mind, what need would there have been to find a way to where you are? Who would still be uncertain? Who could be unsure of who he is? And who would yet remain asleep in heavy clouds of doubt about the holiness of him whom God created sinless? Here we can but dream. But we can dream we have forgiven him in whom all sin remains impossible. And it is this we choose to dream today. God is our goal. Forgiveness is the means by which our minds return to him at last. Okay, so if your goal is God, then we've been given the way to reach him, and that's forgiveness. Here. God is our goal. Forgiveness is the means by which our minds return to him at last. And so, our Father, would we come to you in your appointed way. We have no goal except to hear your voice and find the way your sacred word has pointed out to us. God is the only goal I have today. Our text reading in chapter 26, section 5, chapter 26, the transition, section 5, where sin has left. Let's start in paragraph 27. The holy place on which you stand is but the space that sin has left, and here you see the face of Christ arising in its place. Who could behold the face of Christ and not recall his Father as he really is? Who could fear love and stand upon the ground where sin has left a place for heaven's altar to rise and tower far above the world and reach beyond the universe to touch the heart of all creation? What is heaven but a song of gratitude and love and praise by everything created to the source of its creation? What a nice definition of heaven. What is heaven but a song of gratitude and love and praise by everything created to the source of its creation? The holiest of altars is set where once sin was believed to be. And here does every light of heaven come to be rekindled and increased in joy. For here is what was lost restored to them, and all their radiance made whole again. Forgiveness brings no little miracle to lay before the gate of heaven. Here the Son of God himself comes to receive each gift that brings him nearer to his home. Not one is lost, and none is cherished more than any other. Each reminds him of his Father's love as surely as the rest, and each one teaches him that what he fears, he loves the most. What but a miracle could change his mind so that he understands that love cannot be feared? What other miracle is there but this? And what else need there be to make the space between you disappear? You know, we talk about that space that appears to be between you and me. Well, that space will disappear, he says, just with the practice of forgiveness. What other miracle is there but this? Anyway, starts off in that paragraph, forgiveness brings no little miracles. It doesn't bring any little miracles. They're all maximal. All expressions of love are maximal. Forgiveness brings no little miracles to lay before the gate of heaven. Here the Son of God himself comes to receive each gift that brings him nearer to his home. Not one is lost, and none is cherished more than any other. Each reminds him of his Father's love as surely as the rest, and each one teaches him that what he fears, he loves the most. What but a miracle could change his mind, so that he understands that love cannot be feared? What other miracle is there but this? And what else need there be to make the space between you disappear? And the last paragraph we'll read today, finishing this section, 29. Where sin was once perceived will rise a world which will become an altar to the truth. And you will join the lights of heaven there and sing their song of gratitude and praise. And as they come to you to be complete, so will you go with them. For no one hears the song of heaven and remains without a voice that adds its power to the song and makes it sweeter still. And each one joins the singing at the altar, which was raised within the tiny spot that sin proclaimed to be its own. And what was tiny then has soared into a magnitude of song in which the universe has joined with but a single voice. This tiny spot of sin that stands between you still is holding back the happy opening of heaven's gate. How little is the hindrance which withholds the wealth of heaven from you, and how great will be the joy in heaven when you join the mighty chorus to the love of God. Wow. That reading really goes well with our lesson today. God is the only goal I have today. And that lesson, of course, it started off. The way to God is through forgiveness here. Okay, well, let's go back and take a look at what is sin. Before you get there, though, let me tell you about another squash. This one is a green-striped Cushaw, and it's a Curcibito mixta. Curcibito mixta. 95 days, big white fruit with small green stripes, oblong with crooked necks and bulbous bottoms. The large vines are vigorous and are good for the South. A Native American squash that has an ancient history, great for fall pumpkin sales. Okay, let me show you the old picture of it right there. Okay, can you see that okay? That's your green-striped Cushaw. And I'm sitting again by these raspberries. And you know, this is an old cane from last year. They make their fruits on a new cane. They'll put up a new cane in the summer, and next spring that new cane will be the one where your fruits will be. And so, you know, you don't want to cut those down because that's what's going to be your fruit. I'm not sure if this one here had fruit this year or if it's going to die, but you know, they'll put up a new cane and make raspberries. And I haven't watched this. This is a wild patch. I haven't watched them good. I could be wrong. The black walnut may be keeping these things from making red raspberries. We'll watch this spring and just see what happens come June or July, next June or July, and see if the underneath the walnut inhibits their growth. They are in a little bit of a shady spot here, which is not ideal for berries. You know, they like a lot of sun. Red raspberry, Rubus idaeus. I found this on WebMD.com. The red raspberry fruit and leaf have been used as medicine for centuries. The chemicals in red raspberry might have antioxidant effects and help relax blood vessels. You know, we heard that it lowered blood pressure. That's probably because it relaxes the blood vessels. They might also cause muscles to contract or relax depending on the dose and the muscle involved. So anyway, I just thought that was some interesting stuff. You know, when it says something's been used as medicine for centuries, that's not a documentation that it actually works, but it certainly lends itself to many, many generations that believed it worked. And even though that may not be a scientific way of documenting something's effects, it at least allows you to take your ancestors' knowledge and bring it into the present. And who knows, they might have known better than we with our scientific information. Okay, let's take a look. What is sin under God is the only goal I have today? What is sin? Sin is insanity. It is the means by which the mind is driven mad and seeks to let illusions take the place of truth. And being mad, it sees illusions where the truth should be and where it really is. Sin gave the body eyes, for what is there the senseless would behold? What need have they of sights or sounds or touch? What would they hear or reach to grasp? What would they sense at all? To sense is not to know. And truth can be but filled with knowledge and with nothing else. The body is the instrument the mind made in its striving to deceive itself. Its purpose is to strive. Yet can the goal of striving change, and now the body serves a different aim for striving. What it seeks for now is chosen by the aim the mind has taken as replacement for the goal of self-deception. Truth can be its aim as well as lies. The senses then will seek instead for witnesses to what is true. Sin is the home of all illusions, which but stand for things imagined, issuing from thoughts which are untrue. They are the proof that what has no reality is real. Sin proves God's Son is evil. Timelessness must have an end. Eternal life must die. And God himself has lost the Son he loves, with but corruption to complete himself. His will forever overcome by death, love slain by hate, and peace to be no more. A madman's dreams are frightening, and sin appears indeed to terrify. And yet, what sin perceives is but a childish game. The Son of God may play he has become a body, prey to evil and to guilt, with but a little life that ends in death. But all the while his Father shines on him and loves him with an everlasting love, which his pretenses cannot change at all. How long, O Son of God, will you maintain the game of sin? Shall we not put away these sharp-edged children's toys? How soon will you be ready to come home? Perhaps today? There is no sin. Creation is unchanged. Would you still hold return to heaven back? How long, O Holy Son of God? How long? And once again with our lesson today, God is the only goal I have today. The way to God is through forgiveness here. There is no other way. If sin had not been cherished by the mind, what need would there have been to find a way to where you are? Who would still be uncertain? Who could be unsure of who he is? And who would yet remain asleep in heavy clouds of doubt about the holiness of him whom God created sinless? Here we can but dream, but we can dream we have forgiven him in whom all sin remains impossible. Now listen to that. Here we can but dream. Wow. This is an animation. This is. He says that here we can but dream. No matter how real you think this world is, it appears to be like, according to Jesus' way of seeing it, we're dreaming this. But he doesn't even want us to have dreams that are painful. He wants us to have dreams of awakening and of sinlessness, where we come to realize that God is with us and made us perfect, and therefore we remain that way. Anyway, who could be unsure of who he is, and who would yet remain asleep in heavy clouds of doubt about the holiness of him whom God created sinless? Here we can but dream. But we can dream we have forgiven him in whom all sin remains impossible. And it is this we choose to dream today. In other words, we're all dreaming, and sin is impossible in your brother. But can you begin to dream the dream where he is sinless? But we can dream we have forgiven him, in whom all sin remains impossible. And it is this we choose to dream today. God is our goal. Forgiveness is the means by which our minds return to him at last. And the prayer under God is the only goal I have today. And so, our Father, would we come to you in your appointed way. We have no goal except to hear your voice and find the way your sacred word has pointed out to us. God is the only goal I have today. Hopefully you'll spend the day realizing that there's no better dream than the dream of forgiveness that brings into clarity your identity, your reality, your oneness with your brothers and sisters, your oneness with God. Bring all that into clear focus as you dream of a forgiven world by having your goal being today God. God is the only goal I have today. Thank you all so much for joining me. Be sure to do your longer period in the morning and the evening, and then your hourly remembrance, telling yourself, God is the only goal I have today. Thank you all for joining me. God is the only goal I have today.